Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of ISE 2017. We're here in Amsterdam with NEC Display Solutions in Hall 5, stand R24. With me today, we have Bjørn Pieper, the Chief Commercial Officer of NEC Display Systems, and my first question to you is that you're no longer NEC Display Systems. Tell us a little bit about your rebrand that you announced earlier this week.
Yeah, last Monday we had our partner conference, and during the partner conference we revealed our new branding, and we shortened our name to NDS as the company behind the product Pads 4, and the Pads 4 product is out there, and we are going to push that into the market so that all our partners can brand under the same name, and it's improving our global reputation. And as you know, we're active in about 76 countries at the moment.
I have to say, I was surprised with the rebrand. I like the shortened NDS. You have your Twitter account is NDS_signage, but people know you as NEC Display Systems. People know you as the Flight Information Display Systems Specialist, the FIDS guy. Was there another reason of losing the NEC Display Systems?
Well, NEC Display Systems in some cases was shortened to NDS, but in other cases it was shortened to NEC Display, NEC Displays, right, or Network Systems, etc., etc. So we wanted to have one very brief company name so that everybody can remember.
That's good to know. So again, on your stand, you guys can be found in the digital signage hall 8.
Yes.
You have the Stroopwafel, if I've pronounced that correctly, and you have your new branding on display. What else should people come to Hall 8 to see you for?
Well, thank you. We indeed have Stroopwafels on our booth. And we have coffee, and the important thing is that you heat the stroopwafels on top of your coffee. So we stroopwafels, water, coffee. We have a beautiful new magazine explaining all the competences of the organization, case studies. There's a new version of the product that's is on display. Some beautiful interactive content made by our partners here, so very happy to entertain people.
Okay, we had a quick look at your stand a bit earlier on, and we were quite impressed with some of the content on there. Is the content, have you done it all yourselves, or do you partner with people to put that together?
We partner with organizations to do that, because good content is quite difficult to make. There are a lot of companies that make content, but not necessarily for digital signage. So we work with a Russian company called Vinto, but we also have here in Holland 2 partners that master it. It's BIS and Heuvelman, and in the latter last case, it's that company that made the content for us.
Now, I suspect people shouldn't be surprised knowing your legacy that you have in the flight information airport world, but I noticed that a lot of the stuff on your stand was data-driven. There's lots of data being sucked out of various places and put onto screens. Is that a new focus for you, the data-driven approach, or has that always been there?
Well, it has always been there. The thing is that we're just trying to push it more forward, more visible. Flight Information Display Systems is still a very large component of what we do. We'll be at the Passenger Terminal Expo also displaying this next month. But data is everywhere. If you look at the corporate environment, you have your Exchange, your SharePoint environments, you have your social media. And the beautiful thing about digital signage is if you connect to those environments, then you can get a system that is automatically updated to the latest information without having to put a large team of editors in place. So data-driven has always been there, and very important to that is the ability to put in logic. As an example, if you're in advertising, you don't want to present products, although on advertisement, if you don't have them on stock. So data-driven and logic to it, that's the key to successful installation. Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't surprised when I looked at things like Passenger Terminal Expo in the past. I think we went one year when it was in Geneva, but I noticed you're there again in Amsterdam in March. You're partnering with NEC, but I only tend to see people like NEC and yourselves at Passenger Terminal Expo. Other companies missing out on going to that show if they're in the airport business?
Well, airport business is of course a very important market, as I said. We indeed are going to be very closely located next to NEC, and that's why we are going to try to align with them as much as possible. We align with a company called Aviafox that has public announcement systems. So what we try to do is we try to more or less create an airport within the fair itself. So people really can have the opportunity, airports in this case and airlines, to see how the actual setup in their environment could be. And that's the reason why we try to team up with as many of these companies as possible.
Now, Passenger Terminal Expo is quite a big event, I think. How many people go through it? Do you have any idea how many people go through the show?
To be honest, I'm not really sure, but it could be 200,000 people, so
okay.
It's quite massive.
Wow. And for the last couple of years, you invited us last year and this year, we couldn't make it to either of them because we tend to fly in on the Mondays, but you have a partner conference the day before ISE. Tell us how that works for you.
Well, the partner conference is the moment in which we get all the partners together. So last Monday we had over 100 partners coming all the way from, well, South Africa and in the Far East, Mexico, Canada. And it's the moment to introduce the new products, the new philosophies behind them, how to present them, welcome them. But the most important part in that case is we do, as you know, projects on a global scale. And as an example, we just closed Sun International, which is a worldwide hotel chain and casinos. And that's done by our South African partner. And he is then able to share his knowledge with other partners around. So it's not so much about us, it's more about our partners and how to align all these partners together.
Very interesting. Quite a few of the companies here seem to use ISE as a base for partners. I guess, as you say, it's a global event and people fly in from everywhere. So maybe next year you invite us and we'll come again on the Monday. My last question for you would be to do with the launch, because you've actually launched some new software as well at the show, at the partner conference. So PADS 4, which has also got a new brand, I can see from your polo shirt there, is now at version 7. What's so special about version 7 as opposed to the earlier versions?
Well, version 7 is bringing out an embedded new flight information management system. So as you know and said, that market is important to us. Particularly for the smaller airports, it's always difficult finding a completely integrated package. So what we have done now is we've integrated the full web-based variant into the product, making it easier to maintain and set up a flight information management system, including advertising and dynamic guidance, paging of passengers, and all these requirements you find nowadays at airports. And the other thing which is very important is that we release something which is called viewer variables. Now, to spare you all the technological philosophy behind that, what we in essence do is we create placeholders that allow you to create one template which is completely automatically filled. So as such, the setup and the maintenance of a signage system is dramatically decreased, and therefore the cost is a huge saving.
Is that all HTML based these days, or not?
Yes, we have actually Windows-based players and HTML5 players, and they are managed within the same network, using the same design environment and scheduling environment. But using the HTML5 as an example, we can run native on the Raspberry Pi of NEC, but also on the SoC platforms of Samsung and LG, and the Windows-based variants, of course, on the Windows-based platforms.
That was going to be my last question, but there's sort of another one. So airports is probably your predominantly big market. What's the second one? I mean, you've done some great retail installs in Moscow and other places. Is retail the next thing that you're in? No.
No, the biggest next is actually the corporate and manufacturing. As said, data-driven. So pulling information from these environments is very important. So we do a lot of production lines, as an example, all the production lines of Volkswagen on a global scale, where it's about KPIs, process optimization, informing people at the right moment, and making the right decisions. So it's a cost saver.
Okay, Bjørn Pieper from NDS, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you very much, Adrian.